Kisiuk Kukyet, Kisiuk Wishnam, Kisiuk Quiet. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, all my wealthy warriors. Welcome back to another Warrior Wednesday. Coming to you from the unceded Coast Salish territories of the Squamish, the Tsleil-Waututh, and the Musqueam people. Thank you. I always like to start off, my podcasts with that acknowledgement. And I've been slowly learning my language, relearning it. When I was a little boy, I actually went to the school on my reservation where I'm from Yakanuki. So I'm Tunacha. So I believe it was from grade 4 to grade 6. In between there, I went to school on my reservation, as it's called the Yakanuki. So I always, I'm starting to relearn my language, because within that time when I went to school on the res, I was learning my language. I was learning how to speak it. I was learning how to understand it. And I remember we even learned how to sing the 12 Days of Christmas in Tunacha, which is, kind of funny if you think about it, because that has nothing to do with our Tunacha language, the roots of it, but it was kind of unique, and that's a good way for children to learn, right? To tie it into things that they like. So they tied it in with the 12 Days of Christmas. I don't know how to sing it anymore. It's somewhere in my mind, right? Somewhere in there. It's in the brain somewhere. And I always like to give that land acknowledgement to start off with it, that good energy, right? To give thanks, because I've talked about it before. But everything has energy. Everything is energy, right? And I've touched on it before a little bit, but money. Money is an object, right? It is a thing. And everything in life has energy. Everything, no matter what it is. There is some form of energy around that thing, or else it wouldn't cease to exist. And money is really, it's a subject that's touchy for some people. But all it is energy. All it is numbers. And when you start to realize that money is energy, you start to look at it in a whole new realm. When you start to give thanks for it, for when you use it, when you receive it, when you're around it, right? You start to have more gratitude towards it. And I've learned some interesting things about money these past couple years, since I've started to invest into myself and started to invest into, my Kangen water business that I'm a part of. And the whole Kangen water business that I'm in is what you see today. This podcast came from me taking a leap of faith and spending money into a business, into a water filtration system. Those little actions had a reaction of down the road of me starting a podcast, which is crazy. You think about it. How does a water filtration system have anything to do with the podcast? Well, it gave me the confidence to do things that I want to do. It, gave me the confidence to start to invest into myself. It gave me that courage to start looking at what money truly is. And how we look at money is it's either we're going to attract it or push it away from us, you know, and how we feel about money is what we have the lack of or the abundance of. And it's pretty crazy that if you've seen my bookmarker, what I used to read my books with, I can't remember where I actually learned this, but you know, you need to normalize yourself around money. Some people are not normalized around money. Their emotions go up and down when they're around it, especially larger amounts of money. It can either make you feel, you know, powerful or, you know, make you feel small and little. So what I actually did is I actually have $100 bill for my bookmarker that I read with. And the reason why I chose $100 is because it's a larger number. And if I use it as a bookmark, I start to normalize that. And it actually, I can't remember where I learned this, but I learned about using money as bookmarkers for your reading. So you see it all the time. You see it on a daily, consistently basis. And it becomes normal for you to be around money, that you don't feel weird about being around it. And that's, you know, one simple thing you could do. You don't have to use $100 bill. You could use a $5 bill or a $10 bill or a $20 bill and use that, you know, as a bookmarker. If you read, like I do every day, 10 pages, 5 to 10 pages, if you use money as a bookmarker, you will start to normalize how you feel around it. You won't go up and down with your emotions with money. And you start to notice it and you start to feel more grateful for it. You know, and money is energy. If you don't believe me, think about it. Think about people that do bad things to get money. You know, the typical drug dealer story. How drug dealers deal drugs to people. Sometimes, you know, killing them or, you know, breaking up families or, you know, causing they cause a lot of pain to people. Not only the people that are doing them, but the families that are affected by it. The parents that lose their kids, the kids that lose their parents, the family members that lose, you know, a relative. And I've seen it throughout my family. Drugs and what it can do and how it can tear up, how it can tear people apart. And, you know, you look at the story of the drug dealer. It's around negative energy. They're around negative energy, and they're putting out that negative energy by ripping up these families and doing all these bad things and having to have guns on them and always having to watch their back and always having to live a stressful life, right? That it doesn't last long. Most times you'll see drug dealers end up on the front of the news page or wherever the news is nowadays, and they're shot to death, or they're in jail for the rest of their lives, or these bad things happen, right? Other gang members killing innocent, you know, partners of that drug dealer. And I've seen it here also, where innocent bystanders that are just, you know, they're dating that drug dealer, they get mistaken or they get shot at and they die. So that just goes to show that money is energy, and how you're bringing it into your life is going to be how it's going to tenfold for the next, it'll tell your future. If you're bringing it in a bad way, by stealing, by, dealing drugs, by, playing people, by, fraud, by all these things, it will tenfold and come back at you. And it'll bite you. And I hope it's not too late that you have to learn the hard way by paying it with your own life or someone else's life. But start to understand that there are better ways to attract money. There are. And there's proof out there that you can do amazing things and attract more money. Because if you're putting out good energy, good vibes, doing good things for good, being a good citizen in life, that will also tenfold as well. And you may not think you have a lot of money right now, but if you're listening to this podcast, you're blessed with the capability of a phone, the capability of a laptop, the capability of a TV, or wherever you're listening to this podcast episode. You are blessed with data or the internet. Those are things that you are blessed with. You're blessed with power to be able to charge those devices so you can use those devices. You are probably blessed with a warm place to be able to listen to this podcast. So you're safe from the elements of outside. You also probably are blessed with headphones because that's how you're most likely using this. If not speakers, you are blessed with speakers to be able to listen to my voice or look at me through YouTube, depending on where you watch this episode. Those are things that you are blessed with. And once you start to see that and say, whoa, Peter's right. I am more blessed than I thought I was. And you have the capability, and you have, you can show gratitude for paying those bills, paying your electrical bill to be able to power your device, pay your utility bill or your internet bill so you can have the data to listen to this podcast, to be able to invest into yourself. And once you start to look at all the things that you're grateful for, you will start to look at money a different way. And it takes time, It doesn't happen right away where you just instantly feel it and you're like, oh, okay, I'm cured now, No, it takes consistency of being grateful for money. And if you're a good citizen in the world, you will always be taken care of. And that's one thing I started to look back on my life the last couple of years, where I've changed my life, where my goal is to help one person a day. I'm always taken care of. I always have a roof over my head. I always have food in my belly. I always have, access to the internet. I always have power that has charged my cell phone. I always have clean clothes on. I always have, food in the fridge. I always have access to clean drinking water. I can take a shower when I like. And I started to look at that. And I'm more blessed than a certain percentage of the world right now. I may not have millions of dollars in the bank right now. I may not even have hundreds of thousands of dollars in the bank right now. But I have enough in my bank account to be able to pay all of my bills, to feed myself, to take care of myself, And at the end of the day, that's more than enough, is it not? If you have food in your fridge, if you have clean clothes on your back, if you have heat or air conditioning or wherever you're at in this world right now, if you have these things, you have a fan, you are blessed. You are doing better than the majority of the world out there right now. So start to look at money as energy and start to feel grateful for it. Start to have gratitude for those things. And even when you pay a bill, say thank you. When you pay it, and I've been starting to do this too. I started to reread the magic, and I've basically done the magic now, and that's where I think I was kind of lacking a little bit in my abundance, because I was comparing myself to other people. I was comparing myself to what they had, and where I struggled with in my own life is I was comparing myself to my sister and my foster brother. My sisters and my brothers, they all have houses. They all own they all have mortgages, but they still have houses that they own. And I was comparing myself to them, not realizing that my story is meant for me. Yes, I may rent right now, and that's okay. You may be renting right now too, and that's okay. But you have a place, you have a roof over your head. And some people don't even have that much in this world. And when I moved back into this place where I live in Burnaby, I felt really, really grateful for this place. You know, it's not the newest apartment. It was built in the 80s, but it's perfect for me. It honestly suits who I am. And it allows me to live the life that I want to. It gives me that space, right? And I've been recently taking my time to fix it up. And someone asked me, why are you investing so much time and energy into it? My roommate even said that too. And I was like, well, why not leave this place better than I found it? Just because I rent doesn't mean I can take the time and energy to make this place comfortable, to make it, good. So when I leave, I'm leaving good energy. I'm putting that good energy out because it'll come back tenfold. Everything in life has energy. And that's one of my missions in life, is to leave this place better than I came into it. To break, generational traumas, not only in my family, but other people's families. To lead by example, to show people that there is a better way in life. And if I do that every day for the rest of my life, I will always be taken care of. I always will. And that goes the same for you. If you start to just become a better human being, you will be taken care of for the rest of your life eventually, because all that stuff will stack up and add up. And all that good energy has to go somewhere, and it'll come back. It'll pay you back. It's the circle of life, right? So understand that everything is energy. Every action has a reaction for that. And it's it takes consistency, daily work of putting out that good energy. Some days are harder than others. Trust me. Like, I'm not a perfect Zen Buddha person. Sometimes I allow my emotions to get the best of me. And I will catch myself lashing out, getting mad in traffic, whatever, right? Getting upset. But that's where the work happens. The work doesn't happen with meditation and all these mindful things when you're laying there. The true work happens when you're out in the world, living your life. And when situations come up, the Creator says, hey, are you really that person now? Let's see. And if not, then that's okay. You go back to the drawing board, revamp, try again. And the Creator is going to test you again. And the universe is going to test you again. Or a God, or whoever you believe in. It's just trial and test. Practice and testing. Practice and testing. It's like school. Basically, you're practicing for your test. Then you do a test, and then what happens again? You start practicing and learning, and then the next test comes up. And then you keep practicing and learning, and then the next test comes up. That's all life is. Life is practicing, doing, getting tested. Practicing, doing, getting tested. The same thing with money. Money is energy. You start to practice more gratitude towards that, then an event will come up where you need, say an emergency situation happens. Murphy's Law happens. If you're grateful and you say, hey, I'm grateful that I have that money to be able to take care of this thing. Boom. Test is over. That you passed your test. But if you get all flustered and you get all angry and you start saying, why me? This is, effing stupid and blah, 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 blah. Well, guess what's going to happen? You're going to have to go back and practice because you just failed that test. And then it's going to happen again. And you're going to be like, well, and if you get angry and you get upset about it and you start, that's why they say things happen in 3. Because you're attracting more of that energy. That bad thing happens. You get angry. You're starting to put out that bad energy. It's going to come back. And you're going to get more flustered and more, put out more of that energy. And then the third thing's going to happen. Unless you stop it and you become grateful for that. And then something good will happen. And then something good will happen again. That's, in life you have to have that teeter-totter. And that's what I started to look at life. When quote-unquote bad things happened, I understand that was the balance for a more amazing thing to happen eventually. Because life has to be balanced out. It can't all be quote-unquote bad things. There has to be good things that happen in life to balance that. It's like the tide, right? The tide comes in and then it goes out. The water comes in and then the water goes out. And in and out. That's with life. Quote unquote bad situations counteract quote unquote good situations. It's all on how we react to them. It's all on how you perceive that situation. Because nothing has a meaning in life until we, you, me, whoever, attach an emotion to it. So until you attach an emotion to any situation in life, it has zero meaning to it. So understand, money is energy, and you can start to retrain the way you feel about it. So I hope you got something out of this week. I hope you're having an amazing week so far. I'm going to jump off with that. I want to say Sukani for tuning in this week. I want to say on Winnigat, Dagas. And remember, everything always happens for the right reasons. I'll see you next Wednesday, all my wealthy warriors. Take care.